actual juvenile court went down from where I had it.
Budget's going down, they don't mind that, do they?
No.
Thank you, and I'm gonna thank you, Mike, the county probation office just informed me that they got their, check.
Oh, they said.
Oh, speaking of that, I've got a couple that I need to give you here.
They were happy, so I just think,
It's nice when somebody's happy. for
it is
you.
nice when somebody's
Very nice.
Now, what about us circuit employees that are a third by each county? Shouldn't I be getting a third?
Well, you're paid by Pickens County,
No,
sister. Sorry.
Oh, right check. I'm glad you said that because otherwise, because I,
can't wait.
It's a real check. We did paper checks for all of those bonus checks, those hazard pay checks.
Can't blame you for trying, Sandy.
I know,
I told you, baby,
I'll let
you moved me to
it. Maybe
Gilmer.
Pickens County will be
I told
great.
you to move me to Gilmer. I'll be
Hey,
happy.
I have sent both Fannin and Pickens, both Fannin and
Pickens
Pickens wanted to see how we, the scale that we used for our hazard pay bonuses, so I have sent that information to you. They have.
Oh, that's good, they asked.
Now, they may
and I think
choose to use it, they may not.
I think they are, at least family, they will be, because it's one of the.
I've talked to Sherry a couple of times, she's asked, kind of what we've done on different things, so. It's not a huge amount.
The only thing that I am concerned about, and I mentioned that to you guys the other day when we had the Tri-County, and it just hit my brain again because in dealing with this bond hearing, one of the arguments that they made was, well, my client may be sitting in jail for years until we get this case tried. And so I explained to them, well, no, pretty much around March of next year, I'm pretty much dedicating my court to trying these cases. We can't try them all at the same time based upon the murder and some were charged with a lot of other things. So the amount, and we've talked about this before, the amount of money for drawers. I don't really know how to estimate that, and I'm sorry for, I feel sorry, but there's really, any figure that I would give you would frankly would be just an estimate. I have, as I explained the other day, if the governor gives the judicial branch a percentage of the money that they're indicating we may get, part of what I requested was reimbursement to the counties for the extra money for drawers, not just because of this particular case, but every case is taking more time and we're bringing in more drawers. So hopefully that will come through, but I really otherwise, and that will hit your county more than Fannin or Pickens because we don't have this type of serious case which involved so many defendants that must be tried. So just keep that in mind.
That's one of those things that it is what it is. So I'm sure everybody would be fine with any kind of budget amendment that we would need to do later on.
Absolutely.
Because Judge, we increased that 5,000 this year, but it's never going
That's
to.
a bit.
Well, we
Because
can
it's
make
such a
that a
well-known
different,
case as well, we'll have to bring more drawers, we'll have more excuses, of course.
and we can make that a higher figure if you feel it's going to go higher. I'd say give it your best guess and then we won't worry about it because, again, whatever it is, it is.
We put it in 35.
I put at least 50,000.
I'm trying to pull up and see what we've done so far this year.
So the actual of June 30th was only 16,000.
Mhm.
So we've written some checks since then.
Yes.
Well, I'd rather have our best guess and most realistic thing.
And again, it's my plan to put, and I did ask for some of that money to go into extra money to reimburse. And I was in particular thinking of Gilmer County because of that particular case.
Well, I appreciate that. And we'll hope it comes through, but if it doesn't, we'll go forward.
Well, we'll try our best to. My feeling is if I start trying these cases in March, if I'm lucky, I'll get through by November. There won't be enough dye to keep my hair.
Judge, one of the other ones, under the contract services. Just need to get this clear.
Yeah, on the jury pay, on the jury pay, we, at August 31st,
Rest of communications portion for the web.
we had spent 35
license
to
renewal, and that'll be every year, so say you added that.
August 31st.
So that's what, that includes, that's the Superior Water and that's the rest of communications. 37.
I just told them that on jury pay, as of August 31st, we'd spent 35 too. So 50,000 for 2022 would not be a
It won't be enough.
reasonable.
You're right.
So
Well, let's leave it at 50 so that if I get the extra money, but if I don't, then can y'all do a budget amendments?
Sure.
If other areas are not as much. So why don't we leave it at the 50,000 and hope that we get the other money? We should know what the governor's office has told our chief justice is that this year, because of the special session and everything coming up, he doesn't think that they're going to have time to really divide everything up. So it would be next year. And I haven't heard anything that would say that is different since the special session will start sometime in November and it's expected to go a couple weeks and then you've got like Christmas holiday. So hopeful that maybe by January or February that we would hear something.
I don't have any other questions.
I don't either.
Any questions? Not really, that's not. Self-explanatory.
As I indicated at the budget meeting last week with the other two counties, Judge Wheeler is hoping to retire. She's going to stay with me at least 6 months until we get someone to replace her. I do not expect it to have any budget impacts. I mean, to make it more, might be a little bit less if there's a lag time, but we plan to start advertising in November. By law, we must advertise for 3 months, so November, December, January, then by the time we interview and so forth. But she's going to stay with us, and then she'll also come back if we need her to hear special termination hearing and so forth. She does an excellent job, I hate to hear her, but it's hard to argue with a mother who wants to spend more time with a young child. So I said, okay, be that way. She actually wanted to sort of retire last year, and I talked to her at state, but she said, you're not talking me into it this time. I said, okay, I won't. But I don't see any budget impacts. It will not increase the juvenile budget at all.
I worked with a fellow one time that got a better job offer and put in his resignation letter. And he was my counterparty, so he gave it to our boss. And she told him, I'm as sorry as I can be, but I can't spare you. I can't release you. He said, no, I'm going to another job. I'm sorry, but I can't approve it. And I said, man, I quit.
This is it.
Yeah.
I'll double check that.
Okay.
Don't have any question on juvenile?
Insurance, 16,860. She's gonna double check that. That's 700, because we didn't have any change in health insurance. So we're gonna double check our numbers.
All right, good.
Probation is the last one. And Sandy, this budget doesn't reflect the most recent change, the probation of the staff. Probably not, because that just happened last week, or this week.
No, it does not. So we need to, that would be basically, if I understand correctly, that'll just be a transfer from the sheriff over to
Correct, and I
probation.
talked to, Charlie wanted me to talk to Stacy, and I did, he's okay with that, 1 or 2 weeks notice, so we did, go through all that.
Appreciate it.
I will update that budget to reflect that.
Okay.
And I'll take that amount out of the sheriff's budget.
Because of yours. Cindy, at the bottom of what I submitted to you, I had a note to add for uniforms and software.
Okay.
I'm trying to look to see,
I can add a uniform line.
yeah, we were asking for 300 for uniforms. That's just so that when they go to court, they all dress the same.
Okay.
And then the software was 4,000. The software is, it's a system called JAG. It's all 3 counties use the same software system. And Charlie, if you remember back in 2019, when all the counties, we split probation out, each county started paying for their own, that's one invoice that never got split. So we've been paying it the whole, Judge Weaver's been paying it the whole time. So in 2022, we're asking that that invoice be split and divided per county. It's for the probation software.
It's how they keep up with the number of probationers, money's paid and so forth. It's a good checks and balances system that we like to have in place.
All the sentences, the fines, the fees, all of that's tracked in there.
But that's not reflected on here.
It is not.
Okay.
It's not.
But we put it in there.
I did, but this is Sandy's final version, and it's not a year.
So how much?
It's 4,000.
4,000.
What did you say for uniforms?
300. Mainly they just wear shirts with the probation logo.
Sure.
And then I'll make the transfer for Paul.
We are really excited about it. They are really, really good department here. No offense, Charlie, but it's going to be 2 very qualified women running that office.
Oh, that's no offense.
Pay attention to who runs all the offices around
I
us.
just need
Except
one
for
of those
David. Charlie's used to
pre-program.
be giving him a hard time, so I'm kidding.
I just need one of those pre-programmable thermostats so it can put it cold every 15 minutes.
That's what he always says, but you know, it is true.
See, that's why I say it, because it can't.
It's just over by 2, so I would have 2 certified officers here.
Yeah, that's a big deal. The other counties are actually, we're budgeting to send people to schools to get
We don't have
reelected.
to, so we're
You guys-
excited.
Because y'all, because in probation here, it's, is it Mikhail
Mhm.
Morrison? And then Karleen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to see, I'm trying to figure out how I can take credit for
He's trying to figure out how he can take credit for this.
You approved the transfer.
You
I approved the transfer.
Mikhail was a transfer too, wasn't she? Wasn't she at the detention
Yes,
center?
I got 2.
Yeah, you got 2 of Stacy's people. There you go. You need more credit than that, John?
They must be paying more.
this. I think that'll do it.
Yeah.
But then he's just a lateral.
Nice.
Good.
Got this done, didn't even have to pay more.
Yeah, Stacy said, he said, well, I hate to lose you, he said, you're getting a good employee. I said, I think so. He said, I will tell you, he said, sometimes when we'd send Paula to the jail, if there was like a fight at the jail, he said, Paula would handle it. He said, to the point where the male deputies said, I'm gonna tell you one thing, Sheriff, he said, man, Paula just went right in there and got a hold of them, separated them, and it was over with. So she did a really good job.
I could see her
I-
doing that.
Yeah, that's why we want her in the probation office, we don't have any trouble with the probationers.
That's all we have, unless you want to talk about the grants.
Oh, unless they have questions about grants,
How are your drug programs going? Or are they not? They
They
halted?
don't have,
how are they going?
Yes.
They are absolutely totally wonderful.
Okay, they still are. I didn't know
Yes.
if you had stopped and I had
Oh,
to
no,
pay attention
ma'am.
or.
We kept ours going.
Oh, okay.
We are extremely proud. A lot of the
I've already.
mental health courts, a lot of the veterans courts, a lot of federal drug courts really lost number of participants during 2020. We did not, we kept meeting, we would bring some in person, a lot in virtual, but our courts kept going, so we didn't have any issues. I was telling Charlie that we got named, our Veterans Court is now one of the Veterans Model Courts in Georgia, along with our Felony Drug Court, along with our Mental Health Court. We're very proud of that, which means that we're running the top courts in the state. To the point where Speaker Ross is very excited about our mental health court and working with him to get more funding not only for mental health courts, but in particular, something that will help the Sheriff's Department, the county jails, is that so many individuals that are found to be mentally incompetent are sitting in your local jail. They are the most expensive inmates. We can't try them because they're mentally incompetent. They had been found to be mentally incompetent by the state of Georgia. The state of Georgia is telling us just as soon as they have an empty hospital bed to put them in the mental hospital, they will come pick them up. It's taken months. So one of the areas that David is working on is getting more money for more beds so they won't be sitting in their local jails for so long. And plus, they're mentally ill. They don't need to be sitting in our local jails, and we can't by law try them. So they're just actually sitting there, but we can't release them because some of them are violent.
Yeah.
So it's I feel for them, and so hopefully the money will, and David's already indicated in some of his press releases that he definitely plans to ask the House and the Senate to put money in that area. So definitely needs to be there, and that will, it's not only in our 3 counties, but in the major, Fulton and DeKalb and all those counties, they have the same issues. South Georgia, I mean, it's in every county, every 159 counties, there's individuals sitting there that we need to get moved to a state hospital. So. But luckily, we do have a mental health court, which, if they're not found to be incompetent, we can put them in that court and serve them rather than sitting in the jail. And we have compliance officers that go out to their homes and check on them and make sure they're taking their medication. And a lot of them can work, and they work and support themselves. So making sure they get to their therapy sessions and so forth. So it's working out well. We're really, it's probably up to close to 200 individuals when you combine the numbers for all 3 counties. That is in one of our accountability courts, which is a large number for the size of our circle. So we're very proud of that.
Absolutely.
And they're working and paying taxes. Good thing, right? Yes.
Never good when the DA walks.
Got that order? She follows me.
I'm stalking her.
You got me in here, and I was telling them to cut money from your budget and put it in the courts. Now, I was discussing that we hopefully will start trying some of those cases next year. So the amount of money for jurors will definitely go up. Yes.
There are civil cases as well as criminal next year.
Yes. Now, see, during this entire year of 2021, we have not tried any civil jury trials. The only jury trials we have tried are the criminal cases that have individuals in our local jails. And so those cases have been the rape cases, aggravated child molestation, all of those serious type cases. If you're preparing the calendar for next year, we have added in some civil jury trial weeks. I don't know how many of those we'll actually use in Gilmer County because of the nature of this high priority case, but we do plan to put some in. We're certainly hearing civil non-jury matters. We've had criminal non-jury matters all day today, so that type of court is starting back up. So we hope to start moving
Back to normal.
Yes, because now, I mean, we've been hearing cases, but a lot of them have been on Zoom and WebEx and doing it virtually. But I can't tell you how important it was when you got us the WebEx systems. You know, today, the defendant on the bond hearing I was hearing was actually housed in Lumpkin County because we're separating all of the, how many defendants are we up to?
11 or 12.
11 or 12 defendants in that same case. You cannot
Yeah.
put all of those in the same jail for security reasons and not having them together. So if without the WebEx system, a deputy, well, actually two at least, would be driving to Dahlonega, picking up the inmate, bringing her here, have the bond hearing, taking her back, and as opposed to dialing into WebEx, and she's in the jail in Lumpkin County, I'm here, court reporter's here, Ms. Sosby's in her office, the attorney is in his office in Marietta, and we have the bond hearing. And it was much more economical and much safer, security wise.
Very good.
All right, any questions? Thank you guys for all of the support y'all give to the accountability courts. They are so
Thank you for what you
important to all of us personally, but they really do serve your citizens. They really do.